been there. It is the start of the workday again and you have tons of tasks to do. However, you manage to waste several hours doing non-productive things like scrolling your newsfeed in Facebook and Instagram. You wish you had more willpower because you know that with more self-control, you can manage your time better. You could finish your work earlier, finally get to exercise, eat healthier, spend your money wiser, and so on and so forth. So what is willpower? According to Wikipedia, willpower is a psychological trait that describes a person's ability to control their impulses and avoid being controlled by them. If we look into it from a psychological point of view, we would see that there are two interesting and contrasting descriptions of willpower. First is the ego depletion theory. In psychology, ego depletion is the idea that self-control and willpower draw on a finite pool of mental resources. It means we have a reservoir of willpower available for use for all the tasks we need to do in a day, regardless if it is work-related, fitness-related, decision-making, and so on and so forth. In theory, if you used all of your willpower to do a difficult task at work, you won't have the willpower left to push yourself to exercise. You can also imagine it as a muscle that can be strengthened and fatigued. For example, if you exhaust yourself lifting weights, your muscles will perform less if you engage in another activity later on like running. So in theory, if you use all of your willpower and self-control to accomplish a difficult task at work, you will find that you will be unable to replicate that same level of self-control to stick to your diet, and you won't be able to resist eating that cake. If you subscribe to this theory, the best recourse then is to plan your day ahead. Prioritize doing the more important tasks at the start of the day. Instead of debating whether to open your emails first or check Facebook instead, you need to exert mental effort to plunge into your urgent tasks so that you won't waste your willpower in less essential activities. On the other hand, another study completely refutes the ego depletion theory. They deem such theory as dangerous because it gives one an excuse to quit at a goal instead of persisting in achieving it. Michael Inzelicht, a professor of psychology at the University of Toronto and the principal investigator at the Toronto Laboratory for Social Neuroscience, proposes that willpower is an emotion. Just as we don't run out of joy or anger, willpower ebbs and flows based on what's happening to us and how we feel. This would mean that willpower will always be available at our disposal. For example, we do not run out of emotions. We can spend the day feeling happy, sad, or angry, depending on the situation we are in. Similarly, our motivation would be varied depending on the tasks we are facing. If we are asked to fill out a 100-item questionnaire, we may feel tired halfway through it. But if we are told that our answers to that questionnaire would help in developing a cure for cancer or Alzheimer's, we are more inclined to finish it because we know we are doing something for the benefit of mankind. If we find joy in what we are doing, we can find ourselves in the zone and not feel drained at the end of the day. On the other hand, if you need to work on a task that's hard to get excited about, you can recognize that your lack of motivation is temporary. You can power through that task or break up the task into smaller, more manageable tasks, rather than quit. We need to assess ourselves and determine whichever theory would work for you. What is important is that we realize the role of willpower in our lives. It is our ability to resist short-term temptations in order to meet our long-term goals. It is what we need to be successful in our field, in our diet, in discarding a bad habit, or in changing ourselves for the better.